Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we start today's video, I want you to know this might be the story that changes someone's life. So if this connects with you, please share it. You never know who needs to hear this. Today I am sharing Sarah's story. She is one of our followers who reached out to me a few months ago, and when I read her message, I knew I had to share it with all of you. Sarah gave me full permission because she believes her struggle can be someone else's hope. This is the story about anxiety, isolation, and finding your way back to life. So let's start. Sarah told me that 2 years ago, her life looked completely different. She was 28 years old, working as a marketing coordinator at a company she loved, had a solid group of friends, and from the outside, everything seemed perfect. But inside, Sarah was falling apart. She said it started small, a little nervousness before presentations at work, some trouble sleeping, racing thoughts at night. She brushed it off as stress. Everyone gets stressed, right? But then it got worse, much worse. One day, she was at the grocery store, just a normal Tuesday afternoon, picking up ingredients for dinner. She was standing in the cereal aisle when suddenly her heart started pounding. Not just beating fast, but pounding like it was trying to escape her chest. Her vision got blurry. She couldn't catch her breath. Her hands were tingling. She genuinely thought she was having a heart attack and was going to die right there between chaos and a frosted flakes. She abandoned her cart and somehow made it to her car, where she sat gripping the steering wheel, gasping for air for 20 minutes. That was the first major panic attack, but it wouldn't be her last. After that day, her words got smaller and smaller. She was terrified it would happen again, so she started avoiding places. First, the grocery store, she switched to delivery, then the mall, then restaurants, then anywhere that wasn't her apartment. She told her boss she needed to work from home because of a health condition. That was a partially true, but she was too ashamed to say what it really was. Her friends would text her to hang out and she'd make excuses. I'm not feeling well. I had a deadline. Maybe next time. Eventually, they stopped asking. She said the loneliness was suffocating. She wanted to see people, but the fear of having a panic attack in public was stronger. She felt trapped in her own mind and she didn't know how to escape. The worst part, she felt broken, like something was fundamentally wrong with her. She'd scroll through social media, seeing everyone else living normal lives, going to parties, traveling, just existing in the world, and she couldn't understand why she couldn't do the same simple things. She stopped taking care of herself. Some days she wouldn't shower. She'd eat cereal for every meal because cooking felt too much. She was barely sleeping because the anxiety was even worse at night. 3 months in, she lost her job. Her boss said the quality of her work had declined and they needed someone in the office. Sarah didn't even fight it. She felt like she deserved it. At her lowest point, she said she didn't want to die, but she didn't want to live like this either. She felt stuck in this horrible in between. So, what changed? How did she go from the dark place to where she is now? It wasn't some dramatic moment or instant cure. It started with something small. One evening, she was sitting on her apartment porch, crying. She did this something when the walls felt too close. She thought she was alone, but her neighbor, an older woman named Mrs. Chen, who she'd barely spoken to, came outside. Sarah was embarrassed, tried to wipe her tears and act normal, but Mrs. Chen didn't ask what was wrong. She didn't offer advice. She just sat down next to Sarah in the other porch chair. They sat in the silence for maybe 10 minutes. Then Mrs. Chen said, "You don't have to explain anything to me, but when you are ready, I know someone who can help." Sarah broke down and told her everything about the panic attacks, the fear, the isolation, and Mrs. Chin just listened. The next day, Mrs. Chin knocked on her door with a piece of paper. It had a name and phone number, a therapist who specialized in anxiety disorders. Sarah told me she stared at that paper for 3 days before she called. She was scared. What if the therapist thought she was crazy? What if therapy didn't work? What if this was just who she was now? but she was also exhausted from living in fear. So she made the call. Her first therapy appointment was over video chat. Sarah couldn't handle going to an office yet. Her therapist, Dr. Martin, didn't judge her, didn't tell her to just relax or think positive. Instead, she explained what was happening in Sarah's brain. She learned that panic attacks are a misfiring of the fear response. Her brain was hitting the alarm button when there was no actual danger. It wasn't her fault. She wasn't broken. Her brain was just trying to protect her even though it was getting it wrong. That explanation alone gave Sarah hope. There was a reason this was happening, and if there was a reason, maybe there was a solution. Sarah wants everyone to know recovery wasn't linear. It wasn't easy and it definitely wasn't quick. She started with small exposures. Week 1, she just had to sit on her porch for 10 minutes. That's it. Even that felt scary, but she did it. Week 2, she walked to the end of her driveway. Week 3, she walked around the block. Each time, her therapist taught her breathing technique and grounding exercises for when the panic attack started creeping in. There were setbacks. One day, she made it all the way to the coffee shop, ordered, and then had a panic attack while waiting for her latte. She left without getting it and cried the whole way home. But Dr. Martin reminded her setbacks aren't failures, they are the part of the process. The fact that she tried was a victory. Slowly, Sarah's world expanded again. She started going to a sport group for people with anxiety. Hearing other people's stories made her feel less alone. She realized so many people were fighting invisible battles. She tried medication for a while, which took the edge off enough that she could do the therapy work. She learned her triggers. She learned to talk back to the anxious thoughts instead of believing them automatically. And about 8 months into treatment, something shifted. She realized she'd gone a whole week without a panic attack, then 2 weeks, then a month. It wasn't that the anxiety disappeared completely. She still has moments, but she has tools now. She knows how to handle it. The panic doesn't control her life anymore. Last month, 2 years after that panic attack in the cereal aisle, Sarah did something incredible. She went to a concert, a huge venue with hundreds of people, loud music, crowd everywhere that would have terrified her before, and she stayed the whole time. She even danced. Sarah asked me to end her story with this message, and I'm going to read it exactly as she wrote it. If you are reading this and you are scared to leave your house, scared to live your life, scared that you will always feel this way, please know it gets better. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not alone. Anxiety is a liar. It tells you that you can't do anything, that something terrible will happen, that you are not capable. But you are. You are stronger than you know. Please reach out for help. Talk to a therapist, a doctor, a friend, a crisis line, anyone. You don't have to fight this alone, and healing is possible even when it feels impossible. I am proof of that, and I am rooting for you. Thank you, Sarah, for trusting us with your story and for being so brave. If Sarah's stories touched you, please hit the like button and share this video. You never know who in your life might be silently struggling with anxiety and needs to hear this today. And if this is your story, if you are the one struggling, please leave a comment below, even if it's just a heart emoji. Let's create a community of support right here.